Bali versus Koh Phangan. The exotic and spiritual island of gods versus the serene and lively sandbar island. Today I want to share with you my thoughts about these two majestic islands, sharing the similarity and talking about their uniqueness, including the quality of life, the transport, the cost of living and more, in order to give you a better perspective of what to expect about these two islands if you have never been, or simply to help you also which one to choose in case you are planning to visit soon, especially if you are a digital nomad. First of all, let's talk about the food option. When it comes about food, Bali and Koh Phangan offer two different types of experiences. Bali is famous for its coffee place, especially for the all-day breakfast places that can be found especially in Canggu, the hipster digital nomad hub of the island. Those are the places that usually digital nomads thrive in. In fact, you will see them everywhere seated with their famous iced coffee or matcha latte. The fact is that Bali offers so many food options, really a tons. And for instance, if you are vegan and you are looking for a sour vegan bowl, you won't have any problem to find one. But don't miss out on the local cuisine, which is delicious. It's actually pretty spicy, but the traditional food are usually satay chicken, nasi goreng, lalapan, and it's always a mix of chicken, rice, different vegetables and spices. The local food can be found in the famous Varung, which is the restaurant of locals, and you definitely have to go there. My favorite dish is called nasi campur, which literally means rice mix. So basically you go into this Varung and they have this big window with a lot of different food. You choose the rice and then you choose a lot of all these small dishes and you put them together, and at the end you have an amazing nasi campur, and I love it. It's delicious. On the other hand, Koh Phangan has also its own food porn charm. The choice is definitely more limited compared to the bustling Bali, but they still offer a lot of restaurants, cafes, local cuisine restaurants, and something that Bali doesn't really have, Koh Phangan also offers a proper food court, which basically is this big cover area with a lot of different styles of different food, and you can go there and choose between so many different types of cuisine. And usually the prices are much more affordable than going to a restaurant. Something I love about Koh Phangan and Thailand in general are their famous and kilometric street food, where for $1 you can get an authentic pad thai and flavorful curries. And for your info, if you are looking for a proper German schnitzel in Koh Phangan, make sure to check out Why Not Family German Schnitzel House. Both Bali and Koh Phangan offer delicious food options. The only difference is the quantity due to the difference of largeness of the two islands. If you prefer spices and intense flavor, I will go with Bali. And if you prefer a little bit more mild and curry version, go with Thailand. But this, choose with your heart. Let's talk about transport. Transport between Bali and Koh Phangan are very similar, but there is one difference that really puts me off. Talking about Bali, I used to rent my own scooter as well as my friends because it makes us be more independent to travel around this amazing island. But if you don't feel confident about driving yourself, that's totally fine. You can download the app Grab or Gojek, which basically works the same as Uber, and getting yourself a scooter driver so he can drop you off wherever you want. You can even get a car Grab or Gojek. The only thing is that Bali traffic is really crazy. And when I say that Bali's traffic is crazy, I mean that it's crazy. Bali is a small island and it doesn't have many roads, but it has a crazy amount of people coming every day, like about 13,000–15,000 people per day. And everyone basically got their own vehicle. You get stuck in hours of traffic already by driving a scooter, and if you go with a car, the time will be at least doubled. This is what really put me off about Bali in the last months of me being there. And basically I was living in the traffic, and it's not really what do you expect by living on an island. Don't get me wrong, there are less touristic and untouched places around the island, but it's rare. Koh Phangan on the other side doesn't have a Grab option, but you can rent a scooter or jump on the van that runs around the island. If you don't drive a scooter yourself, it might be hard to get around considering you have to get a van every time. But the traffic is not even like 5% compared to Bali. Actually, I was there during the full moon party, and you will think that the island is super busy, but actually there was no congestion anywhere, and I was very, very impressed about it. Bali is the place that everybody mainly go to Indonesia, and Koh Phangan is just one of the many islands that Thailand has to offer, so less people go there. But in terms of traffic, I will say that Koh Phangan is 100% better. Let's talk about landscape. I am so in love with both of them, but they are just so different from each other. Bali is a volcanic island. In fact, you will find a couple of volcanoes such as Mount Batur and Agung. For this reason, almost all the beaches around the coast are black sand, and the vegetation is thick due to the fertile soil. You can also find some of the most beautiful rice terraces worldwide, an incredible cliff facing the ocean. Bali is mystical, spiritual at a certain level, and the more you enter into his heart, such as Ubud area, but not only the center because it's filled with traffic, you will feel much more grounded. It's pretty hard to explain this, but if you watch the movie Eat, Pray, Love, that's the kind of vibe that Bali gives. It's very magical. Koh Phangan is also a natural paradise, but very different from the volcanic Bali. Koh Phangan is definitely smaller, and it offers white sand beaches on every coast, together with crystal clear water. Palms are spread everywhere, and the vegetation, even though it's thick, it isn't as thick as Bali. Let's say that it's more a light island vibe, with vegetation, but not as volcanic as Bali, but still vegetation. In terms of landscape, both Bali and Koh Phangan wins. They are completely different, so this is really based on your personal likes. Would you prefer a more chill island life or a more like jungle-ish vibe? Let me know in the comment. Let's talk about the digital nomad community. Both Bali and Koh Phangan have a solid one. Bali is the digital nomad worldwide hub, so you can find so many people coming to Bali from all around the world looking to explore the nomadic lifestyle here. And actually Bali also offers so many different nomad events, such as the Nomadic Experience at Cafe Coach in Canggu, which I started with my friends. It is an event that occurs every first Saturday of the month, and it's made to get to know other digital nomads around the island. By my personal experience, Bali was my starting point for the nomadic life, and it is amazing how many like-minded people you can meet here. It is also filled with cafe and co-working spaces where you can meet other nomads and create friendship. Bali is definitely the best place for the digital nomad network and connection. Koh Phangan on its own is more laid back. There are amazing co-working spaces in the island, but I felt like the digital nomad community is more made of long-term stays instead of newbies as well. Maybe I'm wrong, this is just my personal experience. I had the feeling also that less people live long-term on the island, probably also because it's smaller than Bali. But this is maybe also the reason why I felt that the digital nomad community was a little bit off compared to Bali. But those are two different places, so it's very hard to say. Bali for me was the top notch for the digital nomad community. I started there, I met the best people ever, so I'm pretty biased about it, but Bali to me wins in terms of digital nomad community. What about the quality of life? Well, I mean, quality of life on islands is already amazing as it sounds, so I can't really say anything about it. But to go more into in-depth, there are some differences between Bali and Koh Phangan. Bali life is amazing because it's easier to create a group of friends, to thrive during the week, go to work together, and also explore in the weekends. So I feel like it's easier to create your friend, like strong friend group, let's say, that you can do the same things that you were doing at home, but you are doing them in Bali, and it feels so good, right? And there are also a lot of more infrastructure, not as many as Thailand mainland, but definitely much more than Koh Phangan. I mean, Bali offers malls, hospital, cinema, and much more that the small island of Koh Phangan doesn't really have. Bali also offers incredible villas and houses, and there are also a lot of families that live here because they have kids and they can send them to the international schools. I personally wouldn't have kids on Bali simply because there aren't really streets where you can walk, or green areas to let your kids play. And I feel that this for me will be very important for my kids, but probably is not for everyone. Koh Phangan, from what I experience, has less infrastructure. I mean, it has every infrastructure on the mainland, including the immigration office, but the island itself doesn't really have much. I would love to stay longer on Koh Phangan and enjoy the relaxing vibes, but I feel that in long term I would be pretty bored. It offers rooms and apartment to rent, but much more basic than Bali. So I guess this really is based on your type of lifestyle. So Bali sounds amazing for the lifestyle, but the traffics really put me off. Koh Phangan is an amazing island, but I think it won't really be in long term from my point of view. So I guess this is a really hard choice for me, but I will say Bali just because the memory that I have about the island and the friendship that I grow there, I never grow anywhere else. But what would you choose? And last but not least, the cost of living. This is based on your lifestyle, of course, but generally talking, for instance, about the rent, we are gonna be around $400 and $500 per month. In the other hand, Koh Phangan is like 2/3 less. But also the quality is very different. As said, the Koh Phangan is more basic, and usually Bali always gives something extra in terms of accommodation. Activity talking, Bali has a price for everything. If you want to see a waterfall, you have to pay, and you have to pay even on a random parking spot at McDonald's or even to a viewpoint. So make sure to have some actual cash ready on your pocket. On the other hand, Koh Phangan has a lot of free beauties, and this is why it was such a pleasure to go around and visit place without having to pay for the parking and for the donation and for the fee. And you know, I think in long terms it gets annoying to have to pay for every small details. Probably the main similarities in terms of cost of living is the food, because if you want Western food it will cost more, and if you want local food it will cost less. So both Bali and Koh Phangan has quite the similar prices about it. Generally talking, Bali is more expensive than Koh Phangan, but narrowing down, I think that it really depends on your type of lifestyle. I really enjoy my time in both of the island, and at the time I didn't really mind to pay a little bit extra to stay in Bali, but the traffic for me was such a big turn off that I decided to move. And when I found Koh Phangan, even though the quality is a little bit less compared to Bali, having the street free of traffic for me means a lot. So it's really based on what your preferences are. Listening to myself talking about the difference of Bali and Koh Phangan makes me very hard to choose which one I prefer, also because I stay in Bali 1.5 years and only a couple of weeks in Koh Phangan, so all that I'm saying is literally based on my own experience. Bali has a special place in my heart, and it will always be. The only thing I said is the traffic that really put me off, and I can't highlight this problem more. Koh Phangan, in the other side, I had an amazing time, but it didn't really give the same vibes and magic that I found in Bali. But this, I think, it really narrows down to also the people that I've met. So I think it's very personal, isn't it? Well, these were my insight about the different similarities and overall about Bali and Koh Phangan. Let me know which one would you choose, or if you already been in both of them, which one did you like better? Let me know in the comment, because I'm always love to know your own point of view. And if you are interested in nomadism and full-time travel, give me a like and a subscribe, and I will see you soon with another video. Bye guys!